Hey, good afternoon. So this is the Dollar Tree Logistics case study, and I'm Jordan Scango. Next slide. So going over just a brief overview of what I'll talk to, it's just going to talk the components of the cost structure, I'm going to analyze the operations, kind of how they spend their money and where, and then a recommended solution. So I'll do the Excel that we use, and I'll talk about the numbers that I found and kind of how I went about gathering those, and then I'll conclude with a sensitivity analysis of kind of what could change to make maybe one case better than the other. So going over the components of the cost structures, starting with the total inbound cost, this was 30%, 7% of their total budget, and this was their biggest expense. And obviously, if you add more distribution centers, this cost is going to be going up, just because it's going to cost more to get it to these different locations. The next is total distribution center cost. This is 28%. This is the second biggest, so this will also increase as you add more distribution centers. Notably, there's going to be more fixed cost. Think there's going to be more overhead, more labor required, more instances like that you're going to have to be spending across not just 10 warehouses, but now 15 or 20 or however many they choose to add. Outbound cost, this was the nice thing. This is the only one that's going to decrease as you add more warehouses, because your warehouses will be closer to their end destination, where they're trying to go. Just as you have more around the country, there's more to pick from. And lastly is the inventory carrying cost, and these are also going to go up just because you're going to have to hold more reserves in each location. You can't just, like with one location, let's say you have to have 50 spares, but now you have 15 locations, you have to have, maybe you don't need 15 or 50 spares, but maybe you need 10 spares at each. But that's going to just add more cost because now it's more than just having the one. So that's going to go up, and that's just 10% of the total cost breakdown. Next slide. So, analyzing their operations, some benefits of the economies of scale is buying power. As you have more of these distribution centers, you're able to buy more and hold more. Total costs can also vary with that. You may be able to get better deals, better prices because of this. And you're able to use specialization in your favor more. Maybe certain warehouses have bigger supply holes for certain items and kind of tailor that to your organization and what you need. And for utilization, you're going to be analyzing how much space and labor are being used. So this is really just like showing your efficiency in using those. If you're using 25% of your total footprint, 50% of your total footprint, and how efficient is your labor. Is there a lot of downtime, or is your labor being worked sufficiently? You maybe don't want your labor working 100% because this can cause kind of bottlenecking and jams in certain areas, but you don't want them working 10 where there's just, you don't need the full force you have. And then we're going to go over some operation strategy opportunities. Some that I noticed is the point of sales data, and this is kind of what we talked to in the first 7-Eleven study, just like using the system that tells you kind of what's been distributed or what's being sold, and that'll help you kind of figure out some of your supply side of what you need and what you need to order. And then something else I thought the Dollar General could benefit from is the use of a private fleet. If 25% of their cost was kind of used to the outbound of the distribution center, if they're delivering the items, then I think looking into a private fleet could help, and it allows it to make their own schedule, as well it takes out that middleman markup fee that they're paying elsewhere. So now going over kind of the breakdown that I used. Here's the facility costs. I just used what we'd use in these charts and essentially found the fixed and variable costs for the Briar Creek expansion of the current warehouse, as well as what it would be for the new distribution center in Hartford. Did the same thing with the outbound transportation here, and you can see that in doing this that I found the new distribution center is the better route for them. And then finally, when I add all these costs together, I found that the old warehouse is actually more beneficial at the moment, and I'll talk to this as to why. And this is just showing in the difference in the price right here, kind of as I did my sensitivity analysis, I added that in. So I found that you'd have to decrease the fixed cost for the new warehouse in Hartford 34% for a new warehouse. So it's going to have to be from 43 cents a carton to now to 27.5 cents a carton. And I don't think this is feasible for them in the interim, but I do think because they're not very efficient in using this new footprint, this new layout of the warehouse, they're only using 29.29, so 29% of the capacity is being utilized. That I think as you utilize more, because that overhead cost is fixed, it'll help lower that, and in turn help lower that fixed cost. But I think that's what's needed for the sensitivity analysis.